Recording in progress.
And would all the council members please turn their microphones on?
No.
Yes, nice.
No respect.
He didn't say for how long.
Okay. All right, it's 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. We have two meetings tonight. We're going to start with our regular committee meeting, and then we'll go right into a council meeting, after which we're going to have several comments. So let me see here. I'd like to call, no, wait a minute. I'm not. There we go. Let's call the meeting to order and go right into committee with Reed Petty.
Nothing to report for tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, finance.
Mr. Mayor, we will have a budget to present and discuss, but we'll wait to council to hear that.
Okay, that sounds good. So both of those are good. We'll go to Larry.
Mr. Mayor, we have nothing this evening.
And Mary Jean not with us, and we've got two under Jeremy's committee, which Wayne is gonna handle.
The first one under Public Works and Transportation is an ordinance 1533. And I'm gonna ask Wade to come forward and he's gonna go over this for us. And also after we get through with this, and Wade to stay here and talk about the next one also. Wade.
Thank you. Yeah, so 1533 is an ordinance proposing revisions to what we call our FOG program. It's fat, oil, and grease. Has to do with pre-treatment with wastewater. So basically restaurants or any type of commercial business that generates a lot of fat, oil, and grease. So two main changes from our current program. One, we've got a requirement to pump out right now, those grease collectors every 180 days. We want to reduce that down to 90. That's pretty standard around the state with other utilities, and we are starting to have issues with, fat, oil, and grease getting through those interceptors, getting into the sewer system and causing problems. And the other change is to incorporate some updates to the Arkansas State Plumbing Code that allow a different type of grease interceptor. It's called a hydromechanical grease interceptor. It can be a better option for restaurants really than the traditional big tanks, if you're familiar with them, that go on the ground. So those are the two main changes. We also kind of cleaned up the document and made it formatted a little bit better, made it a little bit easier for people to work with. Be happy to answer any questions.
So Wade, I assume that this cost, it'll be an increased cost for anybody that has one of these.
Yes.
And we know how many facilities or businesses in the town this will affect.
The majority of restaurants that we have are going to have some form of grease interceptor.
Okay.
So that's typically, I think we've got some car washes that will have those and stuff like that. This is mostly with impact restaurants.
Okay. Have you had any input from them? Have you discussed it with them? Are they aware of this?
So we're wanting to get through the first reading, and then wastewater plant's going to go ahead and put this out to them to start getting a little bit of feedback.
Okay.
I know they've talked to some of the restaurants where we've had the issues with a lot of grease, breaking through that interceptor because it's just not getting pumped out quick enough.
Okay. And so what is the benefit to those businesses for this?
To the businesses, one, it will help keep their sewers from getting clogged with fat, oil, and grease. But the primary benefit is to the city and the cities, our sewer system and pump stations.
Me, you, them.
Ratepayers for the city of Harrison.
There you go. Okay, thank you.
You get on.
Anything else, Wade?
No, sir.
Okay, I'd make a motion that we forward this ordinance on the full council.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, the next one is ordinance number 1534, and I'll let Wade get into it and explain this one to us.
So these are proposed revisions to the flood damage prevention code, which is, we're required to have that code because we participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. And that's what makes, FEMA-backed flood insurance available to properties within the city limits. There has been a strong push to increase some of what we call freeboard requirements. Basically, right now, our code requires 1 foot of freeboard. So if you build a house in a floodplain, you've got to build that up, you've got to elevate it to 1 foot above what the base flood elevation would be, and that's where we would expect the water to be during a 100-year flood. Feds say they've been pushing to increase that to 2 foot for quite a while. I've been resistant to bring that to council for consideration because it's not necessarily required to meet the flood insurance program requirements, and that increase in freeboard does result in an increase in construction costs when people are doing development. Received notice a couple of weeks ago that HUD has issued a new rule that's going to impact how FHA loans are done. Beginning January 1st of next year, any new residential structure built that doesn't meet a 2 foot freeboard requirement will not be eligible for FHA loans. And so those are important loans for first time home buyers. A lot of people, we don't want to get in a situation where, within our community, having homes being built, those aren't going to be available. We don't want to cut short on that. So we are updating this ordinance will update the code to that 2 foot freeboard requirement for all construction within the floodplain. So it does impact residential and commercial. And then along with that, there's some other requirements for floodproofing, anything that would be below the base flood elevation. Those freeboard requirements are currently 2 foot. Those would go up to 3 foot in order to meet the basic requirements of the code as far as that separation from floodproofing and elevating. I'm trying to say that without getting too convoluted, but so maybe some of the questions you might ask, yes, it's going to increase construction cost in the floodplain. It's going to increase the cost to redevelop in the floodplain, which is why I've held off bringing this to you, but with these new HUD requirements, as long as they're in place, I think we probably need to go ahead and get updated and have our code in line with that so that we still have eligibility for new construction to be eligible for FHA loans. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
If no questions, I'd make a motion that we forward ordinance number 1534 on the full council for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. So Mayor, that's the two in that committee, and I'm gonna go ahead and mention the other one that I have in my committee. It's ordinance 1532, ordinance amending Harrison City Code to regulate alcohol beverages in the city. And this one is coming up on its second and third reading tonight. And with that, that's all I have tonight.
All right, sir. Thank you. Okay, that's Wayne. Liz?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Okay, that brings us down to James. Any citizen comments?
We do have, Rita Lancaster signed up for procedural standards. That's as citizen comments, unless, Ms. Lancaster wants to wait until after the council meeting to do that.
Okay. Did you want to wait or do you want to go ahead now? Okay, good. We'll go ahead and handle that in the next meeting. And I won't have any comments now, so I look for a motion to adjourn the committee meeting. No. We'll all understand a little more about him in a few minutes. But, and hey, and let me tell you, before the next meeting, if you want to make a comment at the end of the next meeting, you're going to be allowed to, because I'm going to drag you up there. But if you want to on your own, you have to sign up with Batman. You're good. We'll take care of it. Okay. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
You got a motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Let's go ahead and turn the page. We're going to get into the real council meeting. Yeah. So